It is the first model introduced in the 2025 Gurren Lagann collaboration with Medaforce, sporting the likeness of the iconic main character. This is TGL00, Toppa Simone, with a mostly new kit of Full Charge, CGU Blow, CG Gift, Biped Legs, and the leg ability of Heroic, which buffs any CG gained by the user in any way possible. Now, as the first model of the collaboration and the freebie that's given out in this collaboration, no less, Toppa Simone offers a lot of massive support when it comes to CG gain and sustain in any way that you can imagine it. Not only is he able to manage it himself very easily, but also be that sustain for any CG reliant ally that can't possibly fit it in the kit all to themselves. Full Charge on the head part is a special skill that upon activation eats into the user's head HP to fully cap out their charge gauge at 100%, usually eating up to about 50% or so the HP in order to do so. This is extremely useful for any allies that need use of CG right away, such as say for Beam Sword, Ghost Shot, Hyper Beam, anything that requires CG for any kind of conditional bonus for damage, for leg abilities, or anything else of the like. This is fantastic for it. At the cost, though, that the loss of the head HP does make it a little risky to use, so a little caution is advised if you don't have a healer on the team, and be especially wary of anyone using AoE skills like Missile or Hammer, which may take him out sooner than later. CGU Blow on the right arm is a brand new skill being introduced into the game, which basically serves as a melee variant to CGU Missile, which we received with Almaga back a number of patches ago. This, explained briefly, is just a basic melee skill that applies the CG upper effect to self, and this CG upper effect is extremely potent when it comes to CG sustain. Basically, while it's active, any CG sustain you obtain in any way, charging Medaforce, Metal Nature, Full Charge, or anything else of the like that grants CG in any capacity, is boosted by about 30%. So as if having Heroic on the team and Full Charge really wasn't enough, this kind of makes it apparent that he's going to put a very strong emphasis on ensuring that at any given point he keeps a very full or nearly full gauge at any time. CG Gift on the left arm is another brand new skill being introduced in the game, which actually is a very interesting nod to a much older skill in the much older games back in the day, where a lot of charge sustainers actually would be able to give charge to another ally on the field. That's basically what CG Gift does. Upon activation, it takes all of the charge in the user's gauge and gives it to one ally of choice, at the cost, of course, that it does require a one-turn cooldown before you can do it again. Now, this piece alone, more than any other part that Toppa Simone has on him, makes it extremely valuable for any teams that are in need of CG sustain, because not only does he have several different functions by himself, being able to build his own charge extremely quickly, but he also has the ability to give it to somebody almost just as quickly so they can get started on their CG sustain and their CG bonuses without having to spend multiple turns doing so on their own. Biped Legs means that Toppa Simone will have very solid coverage across most terrains and fairly well-rounded terrain compatibility at that, and the leg stats across the board really aren't too shabby either as far as what to expect for a freebie/welfare model. When it comes to mobility, Toppa Simone is packing about 819 for mobility, which is very good. This means he's able to dash across the field pretty solidly and fairly consistently with no real assistance required as far as Medaforce bonus or terrain is concerned. An evade of 1018 also is really nice, as this means that he can dodge your grades pretty much as he needs to in that nice little middle zone you want to sit in. A melee resist of 1086 and a shoot resist of 875 are kind of on the cusp of just barely that bottom of the line where you want to be. So be a little cautious when taking damage both from afar and up close, as it probably will break him sooner than later, and his defenses really aren't the best there is, but definitely could be worse. In the armor department, though, he is just a little bit healthier. A head armor of 3479, a right arm of 3179, a left arm of 3899, and legs at just shy of 3300 means that the Toppa Simone is fairly healthy in the HP department despite having the rather squishy resistances. So he can definitely take a hit, but just be a little cautious and be advised when planning to do so. All this being said though, as a pure set score, I honestly have to rate Toppa Simone an extremely high 9 out of 10 across the board as a pure set. What he lacks in power, he makes up for with incredible support in any capacity that recalls or requires Medaforce. He can full charge himself if he decides to use a Medaforce on his own, or he can pair it off with CG Gift and give it an instant 100% charge to any ally in question, even if it does take 1 or 2 turns to do so. And he also has CGU Blow if he does require any kind of combat in any capacity, and the ability to grant extra CG Upper and Heroic for stacking CG Sustain and Gain, means that he's going to be building up charges extremely quickly within 1 or 2 or even 3 turns max before he can either launch another Medaforce or grant another full charge to anyone that needs it. The only real weaknesses to Toppa Simone in this case, though, is the fact that he is just a little squishy, like I said, with the resistances, and the fact that if the enemy does manage to bar the use of CG Gain in any way, such as, say, with a Charge Trap or something similar, that probably will hurt him more than help him. But that is really just one big thing to pay attention to, aside from the fact that he really doesn't bring a lot to the table as far as DPS is concerned. But again, I think that is a very fair trade-off with the fantastic support that he is for any CG reliant allies on the field. As mixed parts, I do have to rate him equally at a 9 out of 10 for these very same reasons. While you can use Toppa Simone very synergetically as a pure set and pretty much use it right out of the box, you could also even afford to mix up the parts with CG sustained users by themselves and still benefit all the same. CG Blow for getting that free CG Upper to self when activated, CG Gift for any of your supports, Full Charge and Heroic. Even if it might be kind of weird having Full Charge and Heroic on the same build, you still could make good use of these anywhere, especially given that Full Charge in this case is non-heavy, and you can fit it in just about any team that needs it immediately.